Hello and welcome back to another episode of Football Corner Pod, where we talk about all things football, from iconic clubs to the passionate fans who live and breathe the game. I'm your host Harikesham, and today we have a very special episode lined up because we are digging deep into the current situation at Tottenham Hotspur, a club with an incredible history, a passionate fan base, but currently going through it all, and which can only be described as a very, very turbulent season. And to help us unpack everything happening at Spurs right now, I'm delighted to welcome two brilliant Tottenham Hotspur supporters and football content creators. First up, Utkarsh, it's an honor to have someone like you who's a truly major voice within the Spurs fan community. Utkarsh is very humble here because let me give you a brief background about Utkarsh. So, Utkarsh is not just a die-hard Tottenham Hotspur supporter, but fantastic football creator who's also been featured on Star Sports Premier League fan zone in India, which is a testament to the respect and the love for football that he commands also within the football community. He runs the channel High on Football, which has over 2.2K subscribers across social medias. He has also a good subscriber base on Instagram. But it's not just about subscribers. He's built a very loyal following of not just Spurs fans, but football fans in general. Utkarsh, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast and talk about all things Tottenham Hotspur.
Thank you so much, yeah, Keshav. It really means a lot coming from your side, and I really felt like I am on a coffee with Karan and someone is introducing me. That's great. I have achieved something in my life. That's good. But yeah, thank you so much for the intro. Bhai, means a lot.
Actually, Utkarsh, bhai, to be very honest, you were coming on my feed not for your Spurs content, but
Yeah,
actually for your AFCON content. And I have to
yeah,
tell, I don't think anybody in India, I mean, I do follow a lot of people. I don't think
yeah,
anybody in India gave as good as an AFCON coverage such as you, bhai. And I'm not like making things up. I
yeah,
really
yeah.
thought
Thank you so
because
much.
when you look at tournaments, right, tournament footballs, like AFCON is usually not talked about as much,
Yeah,
but for to give a tournament like AFCON so much coverage and like so much information in such short amount of time with brilliant editing, by I thought was wonderful, wonderful. So that's
thank you
how
so much.
I became a fan of High on Football. So I just want to say, viewers, whoever wants to, look at what Utkarsh is doing and all the wonderful content that he's creating, please go follow him. The all the links to his channels are in the description. So please go give Utkarsh a follow, and trust me, you will not be disappointed because he's just a wonderful, wonderful human being, and more importantly, a wonderful football creator, content creator as well.
Thank you so much, Bhai. Thank you
And
so much.
then
Means a lot.
no worries, Utkarsh bhai. And then next one is Rajat, who's also a wonderful content creator. He's a passionate Spurs supporter.
Thank you, buddy.
Rajat runs the channel Spurs with RD. And I guess what's RD there, Rajat?
So the D stands for my cast, Dang. So Rajat
Okay.
Dang. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Brilliant, brilliant. And he also is wonderful. At the moment, he's going through the motions, a lot of sad videos coming out, but I'm also loving all the hate watches that Rajat is doing. He's also growing a steady Spurs community and football community. He has over 150 subscribers on football, of football fans. And trust me, he's not been in the game for a long time, but everybody is loving what Rajat is putting out there, and we want to see where you go next, Rajat, with all the wonderful content that you're creating. And very happy to have you on the channel as well.
And definitely Haribhai. And I might be feeling many feelings in other days, but today more than a creator, I feel a fan feeling because my favorite idol is over here, Utkarsh Bhai. He's
Arey
one of
Bhai,
the reasons
thank
I
you.
started content creation, and definitely Bhai. Throughout watching his streams, watch alongs, and his content, and I personally feel more than his live streams, the videos which he makes, those are more quality based. You
Yeah.
cannot find anything more phenomenal than that. For me personally, that's my take. People might we don't. It's not like that we don't enjoy his watch alongs. We do. I ask him to sing many times for me. I am a fan of his voice as well. So yeah.
Are you a fan of his curses as well? Because Utkarsh Bhai has been on one
Oh,
curse,
the UT curse.
UT curse, exactly. He's been writing names, taking names like the Undertaker almost. So whoever has been.
Don't worry,
That
definitely. My friends call me Jinx Lord. So, sometimes I say to him, don't worry, bhai, I'm there. If you can do some jinxes, I'll also try to do some. We can balance it out.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I just want to say, Rajat, for viewers who are watching this, Rajat has got up at 2:30 a.m. in the US and is joining us. Just goes to show not just how passionate he is, but how serious he is about football conversations. So thank you so much, Rajat, for getting up in the middle of the night and joining us on this football cat for podcast on a
It's a
Saturday. So
it's a pleasure,
appreciate it.
bhai. It's a pleasure. And actually, all of us football fans, we eventually have been awake, throughout for the
Yeah.
big matches. So now this is like a daily routine, It's okay.
True. And unfortunately, Spurs fans have been awake in the day, in the night, not because of their wanting, but because of nightmares that they have from their team, performing this season. It's not been up, but we will talk about all of that. But before we go into all the heavy conversations sort of about Tottenham and, the relegation scraps, about Igor Tudor, about the red cards, about the injuries, let's start with some happy thoughts. Utkarsh, bhai, please do let me know and the viewers know what was your first memory about football? When did you get into start, about content
Hmm.
creation in football? And why Tottenham Hotspurs and not one of those, easy clubs that you can support from India? And why Tottenham Hotspur in general?
Yeah, so it's a very weird story, I will say. So I was not following football from my childhood age. I didn't because there was not much access. I think our parents were very strict. कि यार सो जाना है 10 बजे से पहले. You are not gonna watch anything this and that. तो मुझे उतना ज़्यादा exposure था नहीं. I knew there was a game called football. I knew big clubs like Manchester United or something like that. I used to play game FIFA 9, FIFA 10. So I got an understanding, yeah, that there is a Premier League that happens and all. But in 2019, there was a time when I was very fed up with a sports which is very popular in India called cricket. Like everyone is watching cricket, and
True.
I wanted to watch something which is a little bit different. I had these kind of notion in my mind. I want to take a road less taken, basically. So I thought, okay, I will watch football. And during that time, Spurs were having a very good run in the Champions League. And I watched the first match, Ajax versus Spurs, and that was like, oh my god, what a team,
Really.
what a comeback, and all. So
True.
I fell in love with that, but I didn't follow them, rigorously, because obviously even that time, the matches used to come at 1:30 or something like that in the night. But what happened in 2020? COVID came, and we all got stuck in our house and in our silos. I was able to watch many of the game, and at during that time there was a documentary that came in 21, which was Jose Mourinho's All or
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Even though it was depressing, and people who know football would have been like, yeah, Spurs are shit like that. I was like, no man, what a training center,
Yeah.
what a
True.
facility, and
True.
Jose Mourinho at the helm and everything. And I was like, no, I want to follow this club. So my initial thought of following a club was that I always wanted to support a club who is underrated, because you relate to a club when you start following them, right? You feel like you have been through that the whole of your life. So मुझे ऐसा लगा है that I have been underrated. I
Mm,
punch above my weight. You
mm,
feel that about
mm,
yourself sometimes, right? तो
mm.
मुझे ऐसा लगा कि I also need to support a club that I feel is underrated, that punch above their weights, and they have the potential to be a big giant, but just for few steps they are not able to do that. And Spurs have been there for a very long time. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll go with my intuition, I'll go with my heart, and I'll support this club. After that, yeah, the journey has been topsy turvy for sure. I mean, I still have seen our club winning a trophy in the last 6 years. Some people are watching it for the last 25 years and they have not seen that. So in that regard, I think I am a more successful fan as compared to others. And I've
True.
seen people cry when we won Europa League final, because I am in that group and people were very emotional about it. And I totally relate to them, because this club takes you in a journey that you can't even imagine. I mean, from a European champion to a relegation battling team, I think that's a broad horizon of a club that you can think of. So yeah, so this is my story. Yeah, that's why I started supporting Spurs, and yeah, I'm living the life out of it right now, and I've made my misery a business for me in my YouTube channel. So that's a good thing. At least I'm doing something out of it.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that, Utkarsh. And also, it's been, as you said, Spurs, how to say, they are an enigma. It is a mystery in itself, how it works out. I mean, as a United fan, I know what it feels to be in that position. I mean, we were there last season. We lost the Europa and we had our own issues, but it really does feel because Spurs are not a small name. They are a
Yeah, yeah.
huge club, and people often, in amongst the memes and the trolls, they tend to forget that, but Spurs are a huge name. Rajat, how about you, Rajat? When did your earliest memory of football,
Definitely.
your journey into content creation, and why Spurs?
Okay. So back in my sixth or seventh standard, due to the peer pressure, I started watching football because I used to get this FOMO. In all the
Ah,
good conversations, I couldn't contribute anything. So I was like,
yeah,
okay, let's pick Ronaldo or Messi. I
yeah,
chose Ronaldo. Then used to turn up for some El Clasicos, then some World Cups, back in 2014, the main final of Germany and Argentina, and then the 2018 final of Croatia and France, and then the 2022 final of France and Argentina. So these are some quite good memories of my football. Like I remember. Then back in 2020s in my college time, my friends helped me understand that there are different five leagues. There is a English Premier League, there is a La Liga, there's a Bundesliga, Serie A, and some other leagues. So then I was like, they were like, you are not going to do anything about football much. So I took it as a challenge. And in 10th December 2023, after the World Cup of 2022, I had decided, okay, let's now get serious about football and start with the team. So I remember there were two matches. It was Everton and Chelsea. Chelsea lost 2-0 that day, but I loved Cole Palmer from there. And I saw Spurs play with Newcastle United, and Spurs won 4-0. And I was quite impressed because I have seen many football matches, but the kind of intensity that we used to play under Ange Postecoglou, that was a next level thing, and I was quite impressed. And watching Heung-min Son play at that time was quite a pleasure. So then I decided let's go with Tottenham Hotspurs because this is the kind of football which I love to see, and there was quality. And then I started to realize that our prime years were back under Pochettino. In 2019 we came till the championship, like runner up we came over there. We lost to Liverpool in the final. But then, so I started to realize, as UT Bhai said, that there's a series called All or Nothing. Even that is something which I watched and I was quite inspired. And I used to like Jose Mourinho a lot at that time. So now what happens is come skip forward to 2025. This is when I started my content creation.
nice.
So the interesting story behind that is also that back in 2025, like I started watching YouTube and I used to watch some other content creators. And then back in my 2020 in lockdown when I was like free, I started a parody video channel, but I hardly made one or two videos and then I left because it was just
Okay,
time pass for me at that
yeah,
time.
yeah,
So then, after watching some of my football content creators over here, I was like, okay, let's do something. Like sometimes you need to focus yourself, and I understand football for me personally is a good motive, to channel.
yeah,
When I'm free, I
true.
like to do this stuff. So I was
True.
like, let's start with the content creation.
Brilliant, brilliant, Rajat. Thank you so much for taking the viewers through your journey as well. Let's now get into the hard stuff because unfortunately, we have to, talk about the elephant in the room. And the big elephant that is at the moment in crisis is Igor Tudor. So, just to give the viewers some context, we are recording this podcast ahead of Tottenham's upcoming game against Liverpool on Sunday. So we're doing this podcast on Saturday, and probably this will be out before the Liverpool game. Just to come back to Igor Tudor, just last night, David Ornstein reported that Igor Tudor could potentially be sacked after what has been an extremely difficult spell to try and come to a club and save them from relegation. And it's gone absolutely out of order. I mean, 4 games, 14 goals conceded. He's sucked the life out of the club. When you bring in a manager who wants to come and save the club from relegation, You're supposed to come, improve the vibe, instill confidence in the players, make it happier such that the team comes and plays. But then it's been everything but that. He's played people out of position. He's had weird press conferences, and 4 games in, and probably Liverpool could be his last game. So, what did you guys think of Igor Tudor's appointment in the first place? And do you think it's the right time to already sack him and get someone in order to save the season? Or do you think that Igor Tudor needs to be given patience and then see where it goes? Yutibai, let's start with you then.
यार I really believe that this was a wrong appointment. मतलब जब हुआ भी था, I was not sure about the guy. I know that he has taken the clubs from a mid-table to a Champions League place. I am talking about Juve. He has done a good job at Lazio too when he came initially. But that is the point. The team is struggling in relegation zone, and you have brought a manager who doesn't have experience of taking the relegation team to a safety. मेरा सबसे
True.
बड़ा कंसर्न यही था that I was a little bit skeptical about it, and my all the bad thoughts are coming to reality. He is no
Mm,
good than Thomas Frank. And
mm,
मुझे कभी कभार ये लगता है that as a manager of Big Six, there are
mm.
many people who will say that Spurs doesn't belong in the Big Six and this and that, but the truth of the matter is that we are, चाहे आप
Yes.
financially viability में ले लो या किसी भी चीज में ले लो, I think we are a big club. And if you are a manager of a big club, you need to bring a personality, you need to bring kind of an aura that actually resonates with the crowd as well as the players. उन्हें लगना चाहिए that yeah, we have a manager who is backing us, who we have a manager who is vocal enough to tell us
True.
whether we did something right or wrong. And I
True.
feel Thomas Frank was not the guy, and even Igor Tudor is not that guy. He seems
Mm,
to be very fragile. He seems to be very frozen out in the way he speaks, and there's no, what should I say? After Ange, I didn't find any of our these two managers, to be
mm,
someone whom I want to listen to.
mm.
And same are for the crowd. I mean, I don't like the appointment because he hasn't done anything. Her press conference mein he comes and says like, there's a big hole, there's a
Yeah,
big gap, this and that, this problem, that problem, but he hasn't done anything to solve it. हमें तो
exactly.
हमेशा से पता था कि प्रॉब्लम है, आपको सॉल्व करना था, आपने सॉल्व कहाँ किया? दैट इज अ बिग पॉइंट फॉर मी. मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा है कि कैसे बंदा चलाएगा इस क्लब को.
Mm, mm. Rajat, your thoughts on this?
Okay. Personally, I don't like sacking managers. Only
Mm,
reason is that this club, stability has been a very great issue. In each 2 years, you end up sacking your managers. And now the situation is the last manager hardly survived for 8 months, and this person is not even surviving for a month.
true.
Coming to Igor Tudor, yeah, more than the Tudor, it's I think I want to hold the management held over here because this replacement of Frank, if you wanted to really do it, you should have done it after West Ham game or somewhere earlier in the season. You totally brought a manager right now where the team is already hand crippled and players are not showing any intensity for the match. They're starting to show their true colors right now. I'm totally disappointed with the Van de Ven or a Romero. And I don't care now if Romero is not even going to be available for the game. I'm like, it's okay. I rather go take back a academy player that is going to stay with me for the
Mm,
championship at least.
mm,
I do not know how many of our main players are going to stay with us. I hope
mm,
Richarlison is going to be there, but I can't say for a Xavi Simmons or a Dominic Solanke. I do not know. Yeah,
mm,
another thing with Tudor, okay. This person comes in and say that I can never play a game where I will go for a draw. My approach would be either play to win or lose.
mm,
These are your initial statements. By coming to the next press conference, you are like, oh, if we go into relegation, I will bring you back. First, you're saying you're 100% sure we're not going to get relegated, and then you're changing your statements. And even during the match of Crystal Palace, we were 1-1. Like we were the first team to score. We conceded one. And what do now? You bring in Conor Gallagher. You're literally doing a contradiction of your own saying. You literally wanted to play haram ball over there. And I do not know n number of managers has done with this. If you go sitting back, you think if you're going to do that and you're going to get saved, no, we will concede very badly. If you go
mm,
for a holding back, this team in defense is quite poor. They can't do the basics right. Even in the
mm.
Crystal Palace game, if you look right, within the first 45 minutes, how did we concede 3 goals in the last 5 minutes? That was
Yeah.
quite pathetic, and it was basic defensing, basic man marking, which these people couldn't do.
Mm.
And even though that red card, I felt it was quite controversial for me. But then again, इस टीम के अंदर जितने भी डिफेंसिव प्लेयर बैठे हैं, ये लोग इनका डिफेंस का तरीका क्या है? They'll go for the slide and they'll try to do that, and they will end up getting cards like that. At least
Yeah.
under Ange Postecoglou, even if we didn't have any defense, our basic approach was go for an offside, form a 4 people line in a row. At least we'll get an offside. We used to, under Ange, at least we used to have some comebacks. Even if we were 2 down in the first half, we could see a comeback in the second half. But right now the situation over here is that there is no intensity, there is no leader to lead this group. जो बोले कि कोई दिक्कत नहीं भाई, 1 गोल खा लिया, 2 गोल खा लिया, क्या हो गया, अभी मार देंगे.
Yeah.
So there is nothing that shows me any intensity. I am saying, I have been asking replace youngsters, but these people, they end up bringing a Kinski. Yeah, this is a basic disaster from Tudor. I do not know if it's Johan Lange, if it's Tudor, but yeah, how could you play Kinski in a UCL match where this is the condition? And let's not go into the ground. Even Van de Ven slipped, and even before this, when there was a Barca game, their goalkeeper even slipped over there. But I don't want to go into the pitch. My question is, why did you play Kinski in such a match when Kinski is so inexperienced? And you could have gone with Vicario, and you were forced. Let's say you wanted to rest Vicario, you should have been bringing Kinski then in earlier games, right? If you literally wanted to do this. And I understand why you didn't play Xavi Simons and other players like till the last. I understand you want to give them a rest because your main focus, you have made that clear in the press conference, you want to focus on the Premier League right now. That is our main focus, and that should be the main focus. But then again, it's high time you start let's say now Van de Ven is not there. We have seen a Bayfield. I want Bayfield, a Dane Scarlett, a Luca William Barnett. I want the loan players to come back. We have so many good qualities in the loan as well. We can integrate them in the squad and do something. But let's see how it goes here.
It's very morose at the moment at Spurs. As you can hear, there's a lot of anger. There is a lot of frustration. There's a lot of pauses in the way you guys speak. And I mean, to be very honest, right? I've been following football since 2008, not rigorously, but I've followed, and then since 2008, as far as I know, I've never seen a club as big as Spurs, be in the relegation battle. And that is what scares me, that if things are not taken seriously, if things are not being built in a structured manner with a long-term planning in sight, that even the best or big clubs like Spurs or United, for example, last season, we all saw what happened. Can go down the drain. But Utkarsh and Rajat, please try to also help me understand. We've talked about the managers. Let's go back a bit to the start of the season, because I want to understand where things went wrong. Because it can't just be that, okay, Tudor is the reason. Absolutely not. Tudor is not. Tudor is, yes, he is not performing the duties of what he was brought into. But Tudor is not the reason why Spurs find themselves in the place that they are at the moment. So let's just go back to the start of the season. Spurs have won the Europa League. They then take a very interesting decision of sacking Ange, and then they go to explain that by saying, this is because we are not very happy with the league form, which I understand. But we all know that this was a club which was bereft of trophies, and Ange got a trophy for Spurs in a very, very long time. A very important trophy, might I add. And then comes I would say a very good appointment, because Thomas Frank, to be honest, had done very well at Brentford. But then the question was always going to be, does he have it in him to manage a top 6 club? And to be honest, Thomas Frank did start well. But then that is where I don't understand that. For the first month when Thomas Frank comes in, things were looking good. And then from then on, something happened at the club. And this is where I don't understand. In Utkarsh, what happened? Were you skeptical about Thomas Frank's appointment in the first place? Did you want somebody else? And can you point to points in the season where you already found out this season is going to go not as planned and going to go quite horribly?
Yeah, I still remember the time when Ange Postecoglou was sacked. I was very furious about it because आपने पहले proper bus parade की है, celebrate किया. You sent him on a 2-week leave, by the way. You sent him on a 2-week holiday कि आप मजे करके आओ. And then he came back and you sacked him. So I was very furious about it because we did it just when the June was ending, if I'm correct.
Hmm.
They were very late about it also.
Yeah,
So the
true.
targets that we wanted under even Thomas Frank, they became very late to to get to grasp basically. So that was the first move that I thought that was very poor by them. And when the Thomas Frank appointment happened, see, the point is that there is a kind of manager who needs to be appointed for a big six club. You need to have personality, like I said. You need to have that, when you walk in the press conference, everyone is eager to know what you are thinking because you have that charisma or you have that aura around you. Thomas Frank didn't have any of those things.
Hmm.
That's the point. Thomas Frank was never a kind of, he was always punching above his weights, and that was great for him. But see, there are some mid table managers who are just not, there for the big clubs. I think
True.
Thomas Frank is one of them. The other example is Graham Potter, like the way
Exactly.
he came from Brighton to Chelsea. That was a big disaster, and after that, his season derailed totally. So, in my opinion, that's why I thought Thomas Frank is not the right kind of appointment. But it was like, yeah, he had a good time at Brentford. He's a good tactical coach, not gonna lie. The tactics that he used to employ at Brentford, I used to be very appreciative of him. मुझे बहुत पसंद था वो बंदा. But you know, मैं चाहता हूँ कि तुम इस क्लब को इस तरीके से चलाओ that I want to listen to you.
Hmm.
It's not Bournemouth, it's not Brentford ना जहाँ पे and you don't have eyeballs.
True.
आप पहले कॉन्फ्रेंस में आके आर्सेनल का नाम ले रहे हो, उसके बाद आप कह रहे हो वी विल लूज गेम्स. You have to you are being honest, that is fine, but you need to understand that when you are starting a season, you are a new manager, you need to be optimistic, you need to be positive. Gives Don't give us reality. We all know that you are going to lose game. It's not a rocket science. तो आपको ये सब बोलने की जरूरत नहीं थी. So मुझे उस टाइम से ही लग रहा था यार ये बंदा शायद हमें सस्टेन कर दे, आपको स्टेबल कर दे at a
Hmm.
certain position, but I was like, he is not the manager who can bring us trophies.
Hmm.
And you have won a Europa League trophy, you should have appointed someone who can actually help you now
Hmm.
to build on that. We
Hmm.
didn't do that. We
Hmm.
got him, and I was always skeptical about it, and the nightmare came true. The way he started, you know, वो आर्सेनल का कप लेके घूम रहा है, some stupid. He had a disaster PR, by the way. Whatever happened around him, that
Seriously.
was. And I really feel कि he was not PR trained. मतलब होता है ना, आपको
Hmm.
मैनेजर को सिखाया
हाँ.
जाता है ये सब चीजें, उसको नहीं पता थी. Because he
Hmm.
was too much into football. उस पर बहुत
Yeah.
प्रेशर आ गया. वो
Yeah.
फुटबॉल नहीं सोच पाया, उसके अलावा बाकी सारी चीजें सोचने लग गया, जिसके कारण ही फेल्ड. एंड या इंजरीज वर ऑलवेज अ बिग कंसर्न. लास्ट सीजन भी हमें तंग किया था, इस सीजन तो बहुत ही खराब हो गया. ही लॉस्ट James Madison before the season even started. Kulusevski never came back, never played under him. So it was a disaster from the start. And I think मैं थॉमस फ्रैंक से भी ज्यादा अपने मैनेजमेंट को ही ब्लेम करता हूँ, बिकॉज थॉमस फ्रैंक उसमें ज्यादा से ज्यादा कुछ नहीं कर पाता. ही डिफेंडेड देम वेरी वेल. मतलब इन द प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस ही वाज लाइक, नहीं मेरी बात होती है सबसे, एवरीवन इज सपोर्टिव इनफ, दिस एंड दैट. बट वी ऑल नो दे आर नॉट. अगर होते तो आपको विंटर विंडो में बैक किया होता, आपको समर विंडो में बैक किया होता. आपको नहीं किया, इसका मतलब ये दैट वेंट वेरी बैड. एंड हम देख ही रहे रिजल्ट यार. सो फॉर मी इट वाज ऑलवेज अ बैड डिसीजन.
Hmm. Yeah, Rajat bhai,
Okay.
your thoughts on the same thing. I mean, I also want to ask you one additional question. UT bhai had mentioned, right? Thomas Frank, when he came, UT bhai was skeptical. Was there any other manager? Did you feel the same? Number one, was there any other manager that you felt who could have been a better pick? Two, and did you also feel like because Thomas Frank came from Brentford? And Brentford is a type of a club which is very self-sustaining because they are so well run that whoever comes into that system, they have such a huge data-backed approach to football. Whenever you hear their owner talk about football, it's all about they know which striker, how many chances he's going to get, how many goals he's going to score. It's such a well-run system. Ki you put anybody in the mixer, this person is going to do well. So that is why were you of the same opinion that Thomas Frank was a great manager at Brentford, might not be a good top six manager as well?
Okay. So first of all, when Ange got sacked, that was a surprising move for me because we were like, चलो अब इस बंदे को एक साल और मिल जाएगा, even though we have finished 7th, but he has done something for this club which other managers couldn't do so far. But no, the management was like, okay, we want to take a step. We want to define these are the laws which we don't accept. We will not take this in the standings. We will change our manager. Okay. When Thomas Frank came in, right, he was a prospect because why Spurs got Frank was what they saw in Frank was in Brentford. He was converting those players, and this team they didn't want to spend their finances. This is a truth. We don't give enough wages to our team members, and this team's approach was let's get Frank. ये बंदा हमको कम पैसे में players भी ला के दे देगा, and it will work out for us. They wanted to. At that, in the starting, we were like, chalo, this guy is a good prospect. We were like, okay, he has done something in Brentford, and we were a bit positive about him. Come to the Super Cup. We were dominating that match for the first 80 minutes, and then we also how PSG came back and scored those 2 goals. I was quite furious. We lost in the penalty knockouts. Tell missed a kick and we lost. So, okay, what are his words? The operation is successful, but the patient is dead. I was like, what are you trying to tell me right now? Like, the operation is successful, but the patient is dead. I'm like, okay. We start the Premier League with first 2 wins. We defeat Burnley 3-0. We defeat Manchester City at Etihad 2-0.
Exactly. Yeah.
We are on a high. We're like, okay, we competed with PSG. It was his first match. We lost it. Let's leave it. Okay. We have 2 wins. Now comes the Bournemouth game. Emerson scores. We lost that game 1-0 in our own home. So that was quite disappointing. Then move on to some upcoming matches. You win and then you draw with Wolves. We were quite furious as fans. Like, how can you draw with Wolves here? These are the teams where you have to score points. Move forward a bit in the season. You go along. What do you start to see? This person doesn't have any set tactics. He's keeping on changing his team again and again and again. Now, coming to the point of the match with Arsenal, and before that, the UCL also started. Okay. We win from Villarreal 1-0. We draw with Bodo Glimt. Everybody was quite furious. Then again, even though Bodo has turned to be a different team right now, but everybody was like, how could you draw with a Bodo?
Yeah.
What you see across now is that your manager is getting you more draws, and we're like, yeah, is this the way you want to play? We didn't accept this. Where we were expecting proper wins, it was getting turned into a draws or a loss. And this team, I do not know why. What's the reason? Inka medical staff, यार, it's quite inefficient, यार. And what I understand is पिछले साल under Ange तो यार इनका जो main person था medical का, वो बंदा जाके छुट्टियों पे चला गया था. When our team was already struggling, that person is going on vacations, and we're like, what the hell is going on with this club? Now what this team does is they have stopped even getting the special ones. We send our players to specialists right now. So I'm like, why are you paying your medical staff if you have to send all your players to specialists? Yeah? Then do one thing, dissolve your medical staff. So nothing with Frank was he was never on to a stable approach. When we thought we found a formation, that guy used to change his team again, and we were like, what the hell is he trying to do? And the problem for Spurs started where, in between we lost Romero. What your team used to do is with the long balls, this team used to convert their things. And when Romero went in the starting, we couldn't do that. Vicario doesn't touch the other players, and he doesn't pass his ball accordingly to the defenders. So now this team is then again struggling. And later on, when you had a match with Monaco, that was a time, when you got exposed. 23 shots. You were lucky that Gulman Vicario saved your ass that day. That 0-0 doesn't justify. The scoreline doesn't justify. Then you play with Chelsea. You understand that you're not even press resistant. We lost by 1-0. It doesn't look like a great loss, but it speaks. That match speaks a lot of things that where this team were facing the issues. Then they changed their strategy again. And you know what happened? Heung-min Son left us this season. This team was never prepared. Like what will happen when Heung-min Son goes? You bring a Xavi Simons to play as a left winger, but he doesn't suit over there. So you move him to a number 10 or a number 8. You're trying to figure out, you have a Bergwall, you're trying to fit in with Bergwall because now you don't have a Maddison, who was your main creative player. You didn't find any such midfielders that could convert, similarly. What we see right now, for getting a Xavi Simons a ball, we do not have any ball-to-ball progressor, right? Bentancur got injured. This team just, bhai, fill karna hai to karna hai. You wanted Gallagher from a long time, ab bas wo aane ko ho gaya Atletico. So you got a Gallagher. Then again, you didn't get what the team actually needed. people were like, okay, Gallagher, what he does is that ये बंदा defensive अच्छा कर लेता है to the line, just like a João Palhinha, और ये थोड़ा बहुत ball conversion थोड़ा सा कर देता है, but he hasn't been that good, you know. If now you analyze him, I personally don't think Gallagher is that effective, but then again वही बात है, ये team पैसा खर्च नहीं करना चाहती. What they were trying to do was aim for a summer window, and they didn't spend a penny in the winter window. They were adamant to do so. Okay. And whatever players Thomas Frank actually wanted in his first transfer window, this team got scammed like a lot. Ebrize Eze deal got hacked. That was a disgrace for us. Then you wanted a Morgan's gift by how Forrest was adamant to hold him. Everything happened, and then Forrest took it back from us. So these are some upsets, and you know, sometimes I feel a bit sad for Frank, but by Frank was another person. उसके सब्स्टिट्यूशन आज तक मुझे कभी समझ नहीं आए. जब आपकी टीम 1-0 से पीछे चल रही है, वो बंदा तब आपको पीछे बैठा दे रहा था. ही इज ट्राइंग टू डिफेंस ओवर देयर, सो इट डजंट मेक एनी सेंस. His tactics eventually got finished, you know. And the thing is, you know, I do not know how efficient it was. He used to come and discuss that in the Star Sports and Sky Sports interviews and all. So maybe teams got adaptive to his tactics over the time. You know, there was no plan B, I feel.
But
And-
Rajat, did you think Spurs sacked Thomas Frank a bit late, such
Quite
that
late.
it would be almost impossible for any other incoming manager to,
No, it's quite. It's quite, the problem was Johan Lange and Vinay Venkateshan didn't want to sack, and I understand why Vinay does that. He came from Arsenal. They wanted to try like a backing system, but Louis family eventually lost interest and they didn't back Vinay. So now what happened is Fabio Paratici eventually left us because he was not quite convinced. He used to say different things, and there used to be a difference always. So he left us. Now what Louis family did is they just followed what Paratici said. They didn't have any idea of how it's going to work out. And I eventually, you know, I used to keep saying this thing that, first of all, sacking manager is not the thing. And second, this is not fair to any manager who's going to replace you right now. Even though Igor Tudor is an interim manager, as we all understand that Mauricio Pochettino wants to join us. And when we got Igor Tudor's news, it was like, okay, he has a short-term success, but then again, no Premier League experience. People were like, you should have gotten Sean Dyche or some other player who had been more comfortable to a Premier League, and then maybe a Sean Dyche or some other manager might have been perfect. But you know, the players itself are quite waste over here. You know, these are overpriced players, and some of them should actually turn up in the championship. And I don't understand what are they trying. Okay, if you play good and then you leave us, we'll still understand. You are literally showing your levels right now. How could any other team back you? Like, why would any other team want you? Because when this team needed you the most, you didn't show up.
Yeah. Yes, it's very difficult to talk about. You know, sometimes, unfortunately, to understand the present, we have to revisit the past. But let's talk about the present now, because there's 9 games left in the season. Tomorrow, Spurs will play Liverpool, where probably whatever happens, Tudor could be sacked. Utibai, what do you think now? 8 games left. And those 8 games, I had a look. You have some fixtures where these could be like very, very important. I just wanted to go through them because I think one of the fixture after Liverpool, obviously, apart from the Champions League, I'm talking about the Premier League. One of the first fixture is at home to Forest, which is a very crucial match because it's essentially like a 6-pointer. And then you go at home to Brighton, away to Sunderland, also very difficult. Away to Wolves. Wolves have been in top form. Away to Aston Villa. At home to Chelsea and at home to Everton to finish the season. So, I mean, these are not matches that Spurs cannot win. I mean, obviously, Spurs, when you consider the old Spurs, I mean, you expect to beat these teams. But what needs to happen from a managerial appointment perspective? What needs to happen from a playing 11 perspective for Spurs to successfully evade relegation, Utibai? Who do you think is the manager that can come in and do a good job to make sure that, you know, instill the vibes, make sure that he raises positivity amongst the supporters, amongst the fans, amongst the players, gives them confidence, sets some sanity into this club because the players have been going off the rails. I mean, like, when things are going wrong, your leaders are making such crucial and important mistakes that you do not make. And to be playing in a team during a relegation fight is one thing. To be sent off and sitting on the sidelines, it also shows an issue with the attitude and behavior. So there's a lot to fix, but with 8 or 9 games in the brink. So what do you want to see in this Spurs team from a managerial perspective, from a team perspective, to evade relegation duty?
Yeah, see, the fact is that they are not natural leaders. Whoever
Hmm,
is the leader in our club right now, they are not natural leaders.
hmm,
Mickey van der Ven in a Netherlands team won't even be in the leadership group.
hmm,
Same goes for Christian Romero in Argentina team. Same goes for Guglielmo Vicario in the Italy national team. The point is कि यहाँ पे they are the most senior one playing in the Spurs, and that's why they got the captain's armband. But do they have the, what should I say, the calmness that a leader should possess? I don't think so. They are not. They have become a leader, and they have been a very poor one. Let's be honest about it. And मैं वही कह रहा था that we were going for Andy Robertson during the January window, and I was like, yes, this is a guy that would elevate us a lot more. It doesn't matter whatever the money, just pay him and let him come to the club and help us get over the line. Help us instill some kind of mentality, some kind of momentum, because we don't have anything right now. Now I don't want Igor Tudor as a manager for sure. But I have seen him. I have seen how fragile he is. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's consistently saying that it's a tough job. It's this and that. So whatever happens with the result of Liverpool, I want him gone because he hasn't helped us solidify our defenses. That is my concern. If you
hmm,
come as a manager who wants to take a team from a relegation zone to a better, situation, you should at least improve the defense. It doesn't
hmm,
matter you are scoring a goal. You
hmm,
need to improve in defense. तो मुझे एक ऐसा मैनेजर चाहिए जो थोड़ा प्रैग्मेटिक ही हो, थोड़ा क्या काफी प्रैग्मेटिक हो, बट एटलीस्ट हमें बचा ले, ये सेव अस. एंड बाय सेविंग आई मीन बाय सॉलिडिफाइंग आवर डिफेंस, जो कि अभी बहुत ज्यादा लीकी है. बिकॉज वी डोंट हैव अटैकिंग प्लेयर, लेट्स बी ऑनेस्ट अबाउट इट, वी डोंट हैव अटैकिंग प्लेयर. हमारे आधे ज्यादा अटैकर्स जो है इंजर्ड हैं या हॉस्पिटल बेड पे हैं. यू कैन रिलाई ऑन योर डिफेंडर्स टू एटलीस्ट नॉट कंसीड अ गोल.
true,
0-0 पे ही खत्म
hmm,
कर दो यार, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता,
true,
बट यू नीड टू डू दैट. तो मेरे ओपिनियन में bring a Sean Dyche or bring any kind of Premier League proven manager who has been in that kind of situation and he can help you pull through.
hmm,
बट अगर मैं आपको प्लेयर साइड के बोलूं तो मैं यही बोलूंगा दे नीड टू स्विच अप भाई. मतलब आई नो दैट यू आर गोइंग टू गो टू अ डिफरेंट क्लब आफ्टर दैट. लेट्स बी ऑनेस्ट अबाउट इट, इफ इवन इफ वी स्टेज देयर इज गोना बी अ मास एक्सोडस एट स्पर्स नेक्स्ट सीजन. नो वन इज गोना स्टे हियर, दैट इज फाइन. बट अगर आप एक प्रोफेशनल हो, इफ you started playing football because of a love of it, right? You
true,
became a player because you had passion of this club, of playing football. जब आप फुटबॉल खेलते हो, you want a win. No one plays on that pitch for 90 minutes just to lose. अगर आप मुझे दिखा ही नहीं रहे हो कि आपको जीतना है, आपको आपको फाइट देनी है, तब तो इसका मतलब है you have lost as a footballer. I don't care where you go. You have lost your, what should I say, the burning desire of becoming a pure footballer. वो कहाँ है? आप वो दिखाओ मुझे. सो मुझे ये लगता है इन सारे प्लेयर्स को टर्न अप करने की जरूरत है. They need to switch up. They need to understand कि भाई this is a big thing. Even if you want to go somewhere else, many clubs are watching you right now. How you are showing your personality, the way you have given up, the way you are you look, your shoulders are down every time you come on the pitch. I think this is a very sore eye for any other club who is watching कि यार ये बंदा तो कभी भी छोड़ देगा हमें. अगर इसके साथ कभी कुछ बुरा हुआ है तो ये बंदा बिल्कुल ही हमें चेक ऑफ करके चला जाएगा. तो शो दैट मेंटालिटी. हमारे यंग प्लेयर्स आर डूइंग एवरीथिंग दे कैन. दे नीड लीडर्स ऑन द पिच दैट कैन हेल्प देम एलिवेट देयर गेम, एंड दैट इज समथिंग जो इन प्लेयर्स को करने की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है. इंजरीज तो है, बट हमारे पास अभी भी ऐसा स्क्वाड है जो मुझे लगता है compete कर सकता है. इफ नॉट वी कैन गेट 1 point फ्रॉम ईच ऑफ दीज गेम यार. मैं तो ड्रॉ भी बोल रहा हूँ. ड्रॉ तो आई कैन एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ दीज
yeah,
गेम्स. एक्सेप्ट लिवरपूल, ऑल ऑफ दीज 8 games आई एक्सपेक्ट अ ड्रॉ एट लीस्ट, अगर आप जीत नहीं सकते हो तो. and even that 8 point will be very crucial for us.
Yeah.
अगर हमें वो 8 पॉइंट भी मिलते हैं तो आई एम नॉट इवन जोकिंग, इट्स लाइक काउंटिंग द थ्रेड्स नाउ, it has come to counting me counting pennies, but this is what we need right now. और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आई थिंक our club has the capability to do it. They are not getting the right desire, I don't know why, and they should get it as soon as possible. Other than that, अगर नहीं हुआ तो भाई अब तो मैंने तो एक्सेप्ट कर लिया है हरी that maybe I will be watching my club in the championship, and fan code subscription is already there, so no problem about that. मतलब ठीक है भाई, करेंगे। क्लब तो सपोर्ट करना ही है ना, चाहे आपको कुछ भी हो,
Yes,
चाहे
man.
प्लेयर कितने भी गंदे हो, चाहे प्लेयर्स
Yeah.
कोच कितने भी गंदे हो, मैनेजमेंट कितना भी गंदा हो, वो क्लब की थोड़ी गलती है। स्टार्ट तो क्लब को सपोर्ट करना शुरू किया था, दैट्स द थिंग।
But I don't know what to say, man. It's very sad. To be very, very honest, it's very, very sad. I mean, I did smirk, but only because of I feel the desperation, I feel the frustration, I feel the sadness. It's very it's a very hard point of view also for the fans, but and I can only imagine. I mean, being so away, in India, watching this team go through the motions. It's a big team to see them in this state of affair. It is a very sad affair. But Utkarsh,
Especially
one
at
question.
1:30 a.m. in the night.
Exactly. Utkarsh, you just mentioned one thing, and also Rajat mentioned this. Someone like Sean Dyche, who has Premier League experience, do you think this is the best approach that Spurs can take, or
As of
as of now, or going like a Michael Carrick route, where bring a guy who knows the club, who knows the players, who can just get in some positive, because all you need is some good results and some good feeling in the 8 or 9 games that you need to do. Somebody who knows the players, somebody who knows the club, like someone like a Ryan Mason or a Glenn Hoddle or a Tim Sherwood. So do you think this is another approach that they will look for?
यार मुझे ऐसा लगता है ना, Manchester United situation and Tottenham Hotspur situation are very different. Michael Carrick, even though he was not there, he was still in the job. He did great with Middlesbrough, by the way. They are at first and they are almost going to qualify for the championship. So Michael Carrick was always in the mix, and United is a big club. A change of a manager, crowd supports that manager. जब भी कोई भी manager appoint हो, the crowd is so positive about towards them and towards even players. Tottenham में ऐसा नहीं है. Let me tell you, right now the environment in London is very hostile. Even the home games feels like there is no one cheering for them. Obviously, I can understand because we are paying the maximum amount of ticket prices and तुम घंटा कुछ दिखा रहे हो हमें to watch that. So I can understand their frustration as well. तो मुझे ये लगता है कि you can bring them. I'm not against it, but मुझे लगता नहीं है that will create an impact just how Michael Carrick did with Manchester United, because Michael Carrick came with a positive upturn and he did basics right, by the way.
Yeah.
If you see, Ruben Amorim made it too complicated. Michael Carrick just did the basics right, and now they're reaping the reward of it. हमारे यहाँ problem ये है कि basics ही नहीं हो रहे हैं. आप समझ रहे हो? It is like no one has complicated. We are trying to do. Thomas Frank tried to do basic thing. He flopped. Right now, Igor Tudor is trying to do basic thing. He is flopping. And उस चक्कर में क्या हो रहा है कि यहाँ पे हमें ये लग रहा है कि इन बंदों को फुटबॉल खेलना भी किसी ने सिखाया है कि नहीं दिखाया है. फुलम के अगेंस्ट विकारियो का, आई डोंट नो इफ यू वॉच द मैच, द वे ही वाज पुटिंग दोस गोल किक्स आउटसाइड, ऐसा लग रहा था भाई इससे अच्छा तो मैं 5v5 के टर्फ पे गोल किक ले लेता हूँ यार. आई पुट अ बेटर असिस्ट टू अ प्लेयर हु इज प्लेइंग एज अ स्ट्राइकर फॉर मी. मैं खेल लूंगा इससे बेटर यार, तुम उसको क्यों खिला रहे हो? और उसके बाद आप किंस्की को खिलाते हो. मतलब you are doing basic selections on the pitch wrong, you are doing the basic tactics wrong, the players are not able to do basic things. तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है we need a manager who can do the basics right. Is Ryan Mason the manager? Maybe not. But is Sean Dyche that kind of a manager? For sure, because he has shown his capabilities in all the teams that have gone into relegation and he has saved them. Kudos to him. तो मेरे को तो ये लगता है कि हमारे पास ऐसा कोई लेजेंड भी नहीं है, बाय द वे, जो आपको कंसिस्टेंटली कोचिंग में बहुत अच्छा कर रहा हो. रायन मेसन गॉट सैक्ड बाय वेस्ट ब्रॉम, बाय द वे. ठीक है, ये टिम शेरवुड, ये लोग, टिम शेरवुड, पॉल मर्सन, ये सब बकवास करते रहते हैं स्काई स्पोर्ट्स पे आके कि यार हम लोग आ जाएंगे. तुम लोगों ने कोच कब किया लास्ट टाइम भाई? तुम ये बताओ. पीपल वर सेइंग मी सैम एलरडाइच को ले आओ, बिग सैम को ले आओ. बिग सैम कोच लास्ट टाइम इन 2023. After that, he
Yes.
hasn't even coached. How are
Yeah,
you even thinking that he will save
yeah.
the boat? Why?
No.
So these are all the assumption that mostly people make, just thinking कि यार अरे कुछ भी कर दो हो जाएगा. ऐसे नहीं होता ना यार. You need to be realistic about it. So in my opinion, you need a kind of a manager who is active right now and who can actually pull us through. So मेरे लिए I think it is a very difficult call to appoint someone from our Spurs group of legends that we have,
Mm,
because
mm.
मुझे लगता नहीं है कि कोई भी proper manager है आपको अभी at this point of time.
Rajat, your thoughts on who could be the what needs to happen in the next 8 to 9 games? Who should be the manager coming in? What should Spurs look at? And what do you want to see from this team? I know you've seen a lot of this team. You've gone through the ups and a lot of downs. But these 9 games, what do you want to see from this team?
Okay. And before I answer that, I would like to say something on United. This is my point.
Yeah.
I think everybody is praising Carrick. Definitely, he has done things, but
Mm,
even for a Carrick to achieve that team, it was a work of a Ruben Amorim. I have to give the
mm,
credit where it is due. I feel
mm.
that Ruben Amorim's work made that team. Maybe he didn't utilize the players at the best, but it was a given thing of Amorim what you are carrying on to. And let's not forget that Manchester United is just playing 1 week at a game at a time. We also
Absolutely.
when they won 4 in a row and they were forced to play a very quick game with the West Ham United, we also what happened.
Yes.
So when you come into that place, you would need another squad depth. Let's not get into that.
Yes.
That's my take first of all.
Absolutely.
Now coming to Spurs, I would like to explain you this example with a bit of context, a bit cricket, if that's okay.
Mm. Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
that's
Go
how
for
I
it.
relate.
Go for it.
Listen, I am a PBK's fan in IPL. Okay, I have not
Okay.
seen glory. For
Yeah.
me, seeing a victory was first time under Tottenham Hotspur. Okay, but what I have understood throughout this years, like it's okay. Yeah, if somebody comes and banters with me that you have zero trophies, you're not that. It might hurt my ego, but I will take it up. But today somebody comes and say me, you are just gonna be a past, and God knows, many teams went into a championship, but how fast are they gonna come back? How much of
That's
a
the next
squad
one.
are we gonna hold up? Because let's be very honest, the squad which we have right now, can they play the championship teams like a Wrexham or a
Yeah.
the Hustle? I'm sorry, I'm naming them wrong, but
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so could we play them with the same intensity? And you play more number of
Exactly.
matches, a 46
Yeah.
number of matches which you play.
Yeah.
So we all saw Leicester City came from the first time they came back, but they were not that same team or they couldn't resist. Maybe Spurs might come back in a year, and then what happens after that year? What's left of you? Because all this project investments you had a Lucas Bergwall, Xavi Simmons, uh, Archie Gray, the young prospects which you have, Dominic Slankiewicz, all these players, some of them might not be even there with us. So this is where we highly depend on our academy. And then again, it's unfortunate that Mauricio Pochettino is leading USA right now. If he was available right now,
Yeah.
there was no best manager other than that, because that
Yeah.
that manager brings in confidence within the fans. He loves the club so much. He wants to be there, and he has said even in the championship he would be happily representing us. So it means a lot to me. A manager that shows up at Madrid for us, all the way from viewers to Madrid just to watch us, and we were shit. We were shit at the pitch, but he was still there for us. So saying that, hearing to a fact that your team is a bit of a joke or something, but hearing a fact that your team might not be there next season, that hurts to a next level.
Yeah.
logically
Absolutely.
logically I might have accepted defeat, but there's a part of me that wants to fight back, that says that yeah, there are 9 games. Let's forget whatever has happened.
Yeah.
Just play your best. Even a draw means something, and I'm saying we have lost 6 in a row, so what's the worst that we have seen?
Yeah.
Maybe this team is capable of showing us new lows each day, but यार 6 गेम तो हार ही चुके हो, बुरा क्या ही हो सकता है? Do
Yeah.
experiments. Some of the
Absolutely.
other player has to step up, right? ऐसा तो नहीं है
Yeah.
कि पूरे पूरे
Yeah.
क्लब में कोई भी ऐसा पोटेंशियल नहीं है. आपके अंडर 21 के प्लेयर्स में पोटेंशियल नहीं है यार. एटलीस्ट दे वुड बी बेटर देन दिस ओवरप्राइस प्लेयर्स, आई फील.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are inexperienced. They might not be. They might make some rookie mistakes, but they will show me an intensity of football. They love the
True.
badge. मुझे एक ढंग का फुटबॉल तो दिखा देंगे. ये जो
Yeah.
बेसिक्स नहीं कर पा रहे हमारे यहाँ पे लोग,
Yeah.
उससे बेटर मैं देख लूंगा भाई. बिकॉज अगर आपके पास एक ईगो और आप बस ये हो कि आप फॉर्मेलिटी के लिए खेल रहे हो, Please leave us right now. We do not need you. Leave our club before we are frustrated. We have seen enough here as fans. And you are testing our patience. Each day you test our patience and you see कि यार आज इतना परेशान कर दिया, कल मैं इनको किस लेवल पे टेस्ट करूंगा. भाई एक लिमिट होती है. एंड definitely, and the CEO is so shit. Vinay Venkatesan as a CEO is so stupid. If Daniel Levy would have been over here, this shithousery would have not been entertained by now. And I do not know what Louis family is doing, but I do not know why Vinay is staying in this position. Johan Lange and Vinay have failed us totally. Even when Louis family doesn't trust them, they're backing them. I don't understand them. Get these people out of my club because they are the reason today where we're standing. You didn't sack the manager at the right time. You sacked a manager. At least draws were coming. यार, let's be honest. Thomas Frank के टाइम में मुझे एक दो draws मिलते थे. चाहे हम 10 गालियां देते थे, वो बंदा मुझे draw तो लेके आके देता था. Under Igor Tudor, he doesn't understand what's happening. He's going with the back three. It doesn't work. He's trying to back a Kolo Muani. Showed one intensity game against Arsenal, flopped. उसके बाद कुछ नहीं. You're not playing with a proper thing. You are bringing Kinski in wrong time. आपने उस बंदे का करियर खत्म करने के उस पे ला दिया है. Let's be very honest. What you've done with Kinski, what this team has been doing with a Matisse Tell, that person, is quite good with us. अब तक छोड़ के नहीं गया. But neither Frank did him right, and I don't think the other teams are doing it. And eventually, कब तक बंदा अपनी performance देता रहेगा? When we didn't used to play him that time also. We had a Wilson Odo, but that used to show some attacking thing. Unfortunately, वो भी अब injured हो गया. He's a proper left winger. We brought him to a right wing. He showed intensity over there. He played with something. This team said Brennan Johnson when you didn't have any right wing. This is what you did. You didn't plan anything. You sold a Brennan Johnson, then should have got somebody, right? What was your whole winter window thing? What do you want to get? Antonio Semenyo. That's what Luis family did all time. Antonio Semenyo. You couldn't even get him. Get somebody, man. You bought a 18-year-old striker. What is he for? Showpiece. Next year when nothing would be left, use him. If you don't, when your Richarlison is not working, when a Dominic Solanke is not working, use people you are having. What's the worst we are seeing already? Anyways, you're getting the same results, IL, right? So even me sitting and ranting over here, doing something, practically 11 people on pitch. How यार पता है आज इतने जितने major games हुए हैं ना, most of the games our story is we end up taking a red card, whether it be a Manchester United, whether it be an Arsenal, whether it be a Liverpool, and the whole momentum goes.
Yeah.
It's a talk about bits and pieces. You see a 25 minutes intensity, you see a last 15 minutes intensity. This team scores one goal and they come back on track. I have one question. If you don't have any leaders, you have a Conor Gallagher. Chelsea में leader था, and I do not know how effective he is or what he is. But if you don't have any experienced leader, then go with a leader who has done something eventually in the past.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you could do. If you don't even trust him, then make a Dominic Solanke a leader. What else can you do? But Van de Ven or a Romero leading this team is not gonna work out. At least that's I'm pretty sure and quite safe to say that.
Yeah. I mean, as Rajat you said, and I mean, I hope you feel better after the rant. But I think one of the salient points that you made is it's been 6 losses. What is the worst now that can happen? Because at some point after you hit rock bottom, right? After you hit rock bottom, you have to go up. There is no place but up. And people. You said that it hurts me when people say that we won't be part of the league next season, and it really does. And what I just want to say to everybody watching is that Spurs are. I still feel people do say that you're too big to fail. That's what they said of the Titanic. But you can fail. That's fine. But I still feel that the Premier League needs a Spurs. What would the Premier League be without 2 legs of North London Derby? What would the Premier League be without 2 legs of the London Derby with Chelsea? What would the Premier League be without Man City losing away at Spurs all the time? I mean, when was the last time Pep ever won away at Spurs or against Spurs? So I still feel that. I mean, and also as a United fan, I always cherish our matches with Spurs because I mean, we've not had the rub of the green against Spurs. I mean, Spurs has been a bogey team for us as well. I feel it's very, very important that a big club like this should not be going down. And because as you also said, Rajat, right, 46 games in the championship. And the worst part for fans joining from India is it's going to be in the weekdays. You'll be playing two games in the weekdays and sometimes in the weekends. And it's not a guarantee that if you go into the championship, you're coming back next year. Look at Leicester. Leicester is almost facing relegation in championship. So we don't want to get into those conversations. Let's try to be positive. Let's end this podcast on a very positive note. 9 matches, it's do or die now. It's mission impossible. This is what we want to see. We want to see Spurs in the Premier League. We want to see a manager like UT Bhai said, like Rajat Bhai said. Hopefully it's Sean Dice. Hopefully it's somebody else. But I really, really hope that Spurs lock in. They feel the pressure, but they feel the fans from all over the world. They feel what it is to be a Premier League team, and I hope they get the results. Because I genuinely feel this year, 40 points might not even be the magic number. I still feel it could be around that 38, 39 should also be enough. And these 8 games, if you're able to get at least 3 or 4 wins, you get, I think, 40 already. 4 wins out of 9. So I think it should be doable. But I really, really hope that it is the case. Do you feel that in you, UT Bhai, that 4 wins is possible out of these 9? 4 wins.
Yeah, I think yes. That's kind of quality. The kind of quality we have, the kind of players we have, and everything. मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है if they try to, it's like we have hit a mental block right now. If you get over that mental block, they have forgot how to win. What is winning like? If you get that, we even get a 1 win. No, I think we can get out of the relegation zone. We just need that 1 point. Maybe that 1 point comes against Liverpool. Maybe that 1 point comes against Nottingham Forest. But we need that 1 point first. I think we will be in 30. We are 29 right now. We will be 30. And I think after that, we may be able to unlock ourselves, which we are not able to do right now.
Rajat Bhai, do you feel the same? Do you feel that Spurs, come on, let's feel the positivity. 3 or 4 wins as possible with this team.
We can, and through your podcast, I want to, if any English viewers are there, I want to appeal to them one thing. If you're coming to watch a Tottenham Hotspur fan, be ready for the worst. But if you're that fragile that you will leave us halfway, please don't show up. Don't make our players go down on morale when they're already. If you're showing up, have the guts to be there till the end. Lose by 3, lose by 4-0, whatever happens, stay till the end. Then only you're a fan. But if you just want to see a halftime, and even before that, the first goal, it was a Crystal Palace game itself. First goal has been scored, the VAR has been checked. Okay, the goal is not allowed right now. Half of the fans are just moving across. Why did you even show up? I get pretty pressed at those fans. Don't show up for the club, guys. You're wasting your own money. You're making our morale go more down. If you want to really show up in this Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the White Hart Lane, if you want to show up over there, come up there as a true fan. If you're here just for glory, you can go support other teams, because glory hunting is something which you don't do at Tottenham Hotspur, my friend.
Brilliant. What a wonderful way to finish. Now, I really feel it. I mean, I'm going to be supporting Spurs until the end of the season, because for me, I cannot imagine Arsenal fans winning the league and Spurs going down in the same season. I just cannot, because Arsenal fans, they are a different breed. I don't want them to have that double joy. Absolutely not. But more importantly, jokes apart, as I said, from the bottom of my heart, Spurs are too big to go down. I don't want to see. I mean, the only stories that I have read is Juve going down, and that was because of a scandal. It was not like they going down, but purely from a 38 game or a 40 game league, wherever, due to performances, a team as big as Spurs should not be going down. I really hope this team, somebody is coming in, whether it's a player back from injury, whether it's a manager, somebody is coming in, changing these performances. And I really, really think still there will be either one of West Ham or Forest who is going down. I really hope that you guys feel the same. Keep the Josh up in your stream. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, my legs crossed. A lot of the viewers who are watching this who are not Arsenal fans or Chelsea fans are going to be supporting Spurs as well. I truly feel that. And as I said, in closing, the Premier League needs a Spurs. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium needs a Spurs. Because I don't think this Tottenham Hotspur Stadium going away to the Championship, to a Millwall or to a Hull City or to a Sheffield Wednesday, no, it's too good to be true. You cannot be having beer coming out of a bottom tap in the championship. That deserves to be reserved for the Premier
And
League at least.
this club already doesn't pay enough, and after facing a 230 million losses, because the only thing that's revenuing us right now is our stadium, right? So if we're gonna go into a championship, God saves us. Players are already not paid enough, and you're gonna cut their wages by half.
Yeah.
The whole, if you go and define the difference between Arsenal or Spurs, right? Where did we lose? We used to think we're going to pay in the less numbers, but that football changed eventually. This used to work back in a time of a 2012 or 13, but today's date, if you want to do the same thing, you're facing the repercussions. These are the actions, these are the consequences of your own actions, even though the other managers never brought such situations. But this is a case study. If you want to look how choosing one wrong manager and then backing him up to an extent, and not even backing him into the end also, then in the havoc mode you go to a different manager. This is a perfect case study where Murphy's laws speak. If something goes wrong, it has to go wrong. Everything is working out like a proper pieces, yaar.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing? You see an Arsenal winning, a Spurs going down. You had injuries. You couldn't improve your basic things. You weren't prepared for replacements. And this club surprisingly made it to the top 8, and then in the knockouts now it is so bad that we are crippled that we can't even compete right now in the UCL. Whereas if we were in a better situation, UCL was our main focus. This is the first team that is more focused right now on saving a PL than a UCL, because this is the reality in front of you, my friends.
Yeah. No, I really hope that this will be a case study of one of those, when Premier League adds the great relegation escapes, this season will be one where Spurs does the big escape. It's been a big disaster as of, until now, but the season's not done, and we've seen this time and again. We've seen even more desperate situations, even more frustrating situations being turned around. As UTBI said, just need one positive result. This team has forgotten to draw a match. This team has forgotten to win a match. All they require is one positive result, one good thing to happen to them, and I think they're going to be on track. I think with that closing remark, we'll also end today's episode. Utkarsh and Rajat Bhai, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so
Having
much,
you,
bhai.
Utkarsh, having you on the channel for me, it's like a dream come true for me, because we've been
Arre bhai.
planning this for a while. No, I mean, as I said, as a fan of your content, as a fan of your football content and the videos that you do and the views that you portray to the fans, not just Spurs fans but football fans in general, it truly was a dream come true for me having you on my channel. So thank you so much for joining us
Means a lot,
today.
bhai. Means
And
a lot.
Haribhai, thank you so much. You gave me a platform with Duty Bhai, and this
Uh,
is like a dream for
Arre.
me. He's in my idol. So this is something which I've been wanting for a long time, and today, God's great. Yeah, I got this.
Means a lot, guys, but don't make it a simping podcast.
yeah, we have to.
Yeah, definitely, Bhai. You can
No,
definitely.
but Rajat, anybody watching the video, just know that Rajat tuned in at 2:30 a.m. In the US to join this podcast. So go and show both of these guys a lot of the love that they deserve, not just for their football journeys, but also for the stories that they shared, also for the emotions, the content. I don't think I have ever felt so emotional doing a podcast. I've done about 20 to 25 now, but I've never felt so emotional. At times, I felt searching for words, but I hope the viewers feel the same as well. Go show them their love. If you can, support Spurs as well in their last 9 games. Show them your love. Show these two content creators your love. All of their links will be there in the description. So, High on Football, Spurs with RD, you will find them both on the description. So, go follow them.
Yeah, just a last remark, guys.
Yeah.
You would find most of my content on in Instagram, and I'm trying to be more consistent on the YouTube as well. Eventually, you will get more content in YouTube. But if you want to find my content right now, please go through my Instagram, as most of my contents over there. And eventually in YouTube as well is there. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna put both of them for both of you guys. So both it's gonna be YouTube and Instagram. So it's gonna be there. And as I always say, please like, share, and subscribe to our own channel. It's the love that you guys give allows me to get guests like UT by Rajat by on this channel. So your support means the world to us. So until next time, take care, stay safe, and be aware of any corners taken quickly. And next time, hopefully, when Rajat Bhai and UT Bhai are on the channel, we're going to be talking about Spurs summer plans in the Premier League. What's going to happen next season? who's the manager that's going to come in. So that's what we're going to talk about. So let's end that on a high then. Yeah. Fingers crossed. Stay safe. Take care of any corners taken quickly again, guys. See you then. Bye.